Okay, welcome to Steel Division Normandy 1944 Storm in the West mod. We have a 2v2 game on KarPK, normal KarPK. On the Allied side, we have Zerzer with the British 3rd Infantry. We have Jack uh, on the Allied side with the Polish, the 1st Panzerna, the Polish division. And on the Axis side, we have Wolf Walter Moto with 21st Panzer and Kartoffelnfuhrer with 91st Luftwaffe. So all four of these divisions are quite a bit different. One doesn't exist in vanilla, and the other three are very different from what they are in vanilla. The most similar one is probably the Panzerna. Um, Third Infantry Division, UK Infantry Division, is fairly unique. Its main aspect of it is that it is a British infantry division with Sherman support. It starts with Phase A commandos and then transitions into standard Commonwealth British infantry as Sherman support, uh, reconnaissance with armored cars, and standard Commonwealth air package. The 21st Panzer is a German armored division with very good Phase A and B income. It has veteran infantry, but no heavy assets. It tops out at Stugs and Panzer IVs. The 91st Luftwaffe is a German infantry division that features both elite paratroopers and uh, inexpensive Ausbildung troop, which are tank school troops. They have light tanks and they have Tiger tanks. Unlike a lot of other Axis divisions, they have decent access to air power, and we should see that this match. Um, Panzerna is not too different from Vanilla. It has more access to its assets in Phase A, though, with Saperzi coming in Phase A. It's smaller cards. Um, Infantry in general is more equalized in cost, so the Streltsy aren't so much of an advantage. Uh, Nor are the Ersatztruppen, which are 19 points. The Ausbildungstruppen are similar to Ersatztruppen. They have a weaker machine gun, and instead of the combat effectiveness debuff, they have a suppression resistance debuff. We'll see how that plays out in this game. The setup is going to be playing the town side. We'll see the 3rd Infantry go up against the 91st Luftwaffe, and we'll see the 1st Panzerna go up against the 21st Panzer. Recent addition to the mod are veteran Panzer Grenadiers, which are for several of the German armored divisions. 21st has many of these veteran Panzer Grenadiers, and they should do pretty well against the Polish troops, though this isn't a particularly compelling infantry approach. I will see how that plays out. We see not many heavy assets here. An AT gun for Phase A. Mostly infantry. He's probably going to make a play for this hangar area. All that infantry, and this one is fairly predictable. Though I think the 3rd Infantry Division will have an advantage as they're sending in 2 Shermans. Those are Sherman DDs to try and provide the fire support needed for the commandos to win. The so the 3rd Infantry Division was the second to last division, I believe, added to the mod. It's gotten some adjustments since then. It hasn't really gotten a lot of play, so it's needed some balance adjustments to make it a little more fair. It used to have an M10 in Phase A, but not anymore. The Panzerna is probably nowhere near as good in the mod as it is in vanilla. It's it's got it doesn't have much of a veterancy advantage anymore. Essentially, the stars are just morale now. And so we're going to see a push with a support Cromwell, a normal Cromwell, and a Stuart, as well as a Staghound. A lot of vehicles going to go up this road, I assume. Could be potentially dangerous for this opening with no tank. 21st Panzer does have access to Stugs in Phase A, as well as Panzer IIIs, in addition to their Somo S-35s and a card of H-39s, actually. So I don't know why anybody would ever use them. It's just a card of 2. Okay, the game starts, and we see everybody fast moving, except this recon unit. I'm sure he'll make his way forward at some point. This is probably where the first big action's gonna be. Staghound leading the way with its fast road speed. No easy things to get it. Well, this AT gun might. And that might be the PaK-43. Yes, that is the PaK-43. Can kill every single one of those vehicles if it gets lucky. Yep, knocks out the Staghound easily. And we see the other vehicles move in. Yep, good smoke use by the howitzer Cromwell to protect it from the AT gun. One thing is the support tanks and command tanks have smoke shells now. Also, German heavies have smoke grenade launchers that they can use to protect themselves. That improves the appeal of the command tanks in this mod because they don't provide veterancy benefits anymore, just morale. Veteran P-Grens deal well with this Vickers gun, but the carriers are easily suppressing it. Can't really do much in return. So the hangars for now look like they're in the hands of the Polish player. We see the Shermans making their presence known against these Fallschirmjägers and this Ausbildungstroop. And it doesn't look like they stand much of a chance. See a Panzerschreck, but not deployed. Oh, howitzer here. 21st Panzer is going to be providing some support, I presume. And he's bringing up heavy assets to deal with this push. Stug and the pack track here. So far, the Polish are doing very well to gain ground on their side, and there's a +1 tick for the Allies. And also, the 3rd Infantry is clearing out the city pretty well, using the commando units, which are every bit the equal of the Fallschirmjägers. Axis appear to be on their back foot right now. That could change in a hurry. This 21st Panzer has a lot of money to work with in this Phase A. But right now the Shermans are making their presence known. Making their presence felt, to be more precise. Ausbildungstroop can't do much to Shermans. Not much to stop these Shermans from running roughshod. Still undeployed reconnaissance. He's sending in these H-39s, but they're still no match for Shermans. So becomes a Panzer III as well. Should be able to clean out these half tracks. We see the H-39s trying to get in on the action. The rifles should be able to beat this Ausbildungstroop, but they're not under any command right now, so they get suppressed easily. Stug fighting this Cromwell. Mostly missing each other. They are at near their max range, so not a lot of hits gonna happen here. But he's doing a good job of clearing these Polish infantry positions, using mechanized infantry with good fire support. However, the Luftlandde is not holding up that well right now. Wolfwater Model is sending in a Panzer III to provide support. With the APCR rounds at 9, they can actually penetrate the Shermans at close range. Needs to get in range though. Panzer III should be at a decided advantage against the Stuart, but the Cromwell is... Yeah, just Stuarts, yeah. Yeah, the Panzer III should be fine against the Stuarts. Okay, so... we see the Ausbildung's troop get suppressed here. And Panzer Schreck tries to walk in. You really can't walk in and try to finish an ambush that way. You need to wait till the tank gets in, and then you can try to hit him. And then the Cromwell starts to engage the Panzer III. The Cromwell has a bit of an advantage here. But the pack track should be able to help. If he brings the Stug up, this should be an advantageous engagement. More pack tracks coming up. And you can see the Phase A income really making itself felt. The 21st Panzer player is able to bring in a lot of vehicles that the Polish player cannot afford so much. Not getting these hits, that's pretty rough. See the slow push, but the Sherman gets knocked out. I wonder what knocked it out. One of the Shermans gets knocked out anyway. Commando's not pushing all the way through. See more. See the Panzer III knocking out a half track. More guns coming up to get some good damage on the Stuarts. These Stuarts are no match for the Stug. They cannot harm the Stug from the front. Okay, so we see the he's starting to get his Grenadiers into place. Grenadiers not having any T-buff tag, or buff tag for that matter. And yeah, these French tanks and the Panzer IIIs are just plinking away at a Sherman they can't really hurt. The tanks are really assaulting now. No infantry support, but the Dragoni's Piats are not very powerful. You'll find in the mod that AP7 is just weak. Still good enough for half tracks though. Oh no, the Dragoni have revealed themselves. You can see the Piat fails to accomplish much. And here's the Panzer III. Knocks out the Stuart easily. We see an assault on the flank now with the flamethrower carrier, but the Wasp gets knocked out by Pack 4. And then the Sherman gets knocked out by the Pack 40. Looks like things are stabilizing on the south. And in the north, the 21st Panzer player's assault is coming through pretty well. Phase B is going to be over pretty soon, and with that, the 21st Panzer player will get their Panzer IVs, and I believe the allies will start getting some extra stuff too. Tries to bag it with the 87 and gets a weapons jammed. Decent result. He'll need supply to fix that, which is coming. Still linking away at this tank. He should probably switch to APCR to kill the tank if he wants to do that. And we see the 6-pounder. 6-pounders are very deadly in this mod because they fire quickly and can penetrate almost any of the German tanks. Well-placed 6-pounder to put the to keep the vehicle push from going on the far right side. And here's the support Cromwell firing heat at these enemy vehicles, but it's not very accurate. You need to get in close to be effective with heat. Fortunately, these Panzer IIIs are not all that good against Cromwells themselves. The Cromwells have just enough armor to shrug off AP5 shots at range. But we're seeing a general push into the hangar area here, which could start to give the Axis a tick if they can stabilize this situation here. A lot of rifles probably coming in to reinforce the 3rd Infantry's position in the city here. The yeah, seeing the effect of artillery here, suppressing infantry in the front. Dragoni are in the open here, not really a match for Pigrens, especially veteran Panzer Grenadiers, and they're just going to get cut down. But yes, the 21st Panzer player is now into these hangars and should be able to take a push home there. Surprised at not seeing the much play in the open area yet, but I'm sure we will once the Tigers come out. And yes, Luftwaffe has Tigers. Yes, Luftwaffe even has a King Tiger, reflecting the Schwerer Panzer Battalion attached to them. I believe in the vanilla it was considered attached to the 21st Panzer, but this was given to the 91st Luftwaffe instead. See a lot of AA tracks, probably because they're anticipating enemy air power. They also have a lot of fire support benefits here. That could be it. Panzer IIIs knock out this Centaur, and there's nothing in front of them. He could easily drive up. The Sherman would be a problem. Large armored attack by both players. A lot of cooperation on the Axis side here, not so much on the Allied side. You see kind of the 2 separate games for the Allies, whereas on the Allied side, on the Axis side, you see a lot of help by the 21st Panzer player. I think that's the key to these 2v2s really, is using cooperation to help you win in certain engagements. You know, even though this Polish guy is playing the one area, he's not actually doing that well. But that probably comes down to the phase A and B power of the 21st Panzer Division. That income really comes into play as the phases go on later into A and then into B. But phase C is coming, and both the Allied battle groups have good phase C income, and neither of the Axis ones do. We could see a bit of a comeback play. Ooh, nice, with the Rheinwerfer knocks out one of the commando units. The Rheinwerfer sits in the support tab in the 21st Panzer, a little bit of a move to make it more appealing. And at close range, the Rheinwerfer is extremely deadly. Sherman running away from the Panzer IIIs. Let's see. Not favorable tank engagements right now, unless you can get an APCR shot in. But he's very stunned. He probably won't hit. Nope. Okay. forced to fall back. General stable front in the north now, so let's focus on this. Okay, we see the Luftwaffe player bringing more infantry in, but not quite ready to assault. And we see tigers now in the middle, 2 of them in fact. So the Luftwaffe player have been saving up for those 2 tigers. Not that tigers are the best of the Axis heavy tanks, but they can really make a difference here. And they're both actually veterans. All Axis command tanks are veteran tanks. That's why they cost more. So Polish trying to make a push into the hangars, but not able to consistently keep a support fire onto the Panzer Grenadiers. He's got a Cromwell and a Firefly coming in to hopefully clear out the enemy armor, but if those Tigers come into play, neither of those tanks are safe. And Sherman proceeds to knock out one of the Panzer IIIs. If he can keep this Panzer Grenadier suppressed, this assault should carry home and get the Allies back to 50%. Right now, a pretty scattered firefight, but if things continue as is, I should be able to clear out these Panzer IIIs with their better tanks. You see some fire support coming up. Modal mostly helping on this side here. Interesting play. I think it makes sense here. We see these tanks pulling back. I don't know why. I think maybe he saw those Tigers or something. Didn't want to tangle with a pair. Here comes some supplies, some infantry, and a Panzer IV could be a big deal. In the mod, the Panzer IV is every bit the equal of the Sherman. Actually a little bit better, especially at range. But the Shermans are significantly cheaper. Okay, here comes what could probably be a couple more Fallschirmjäger units. I'm gonna try to use elite infantry to beat up on the rifles now. And our Nebelwerfer is in play. Good suppress. Here comes the Fallschirmjäger. But he's already got artillery preemptively firing on that attack. Oh, Fallschirm Pioneers. Okay, those are even better at assault. Panzer IV coming in to provide support. Ooh. Fallschirm Pioneers don't make much of an impression in this attack. It doesn't quite succeed yet. But then neither is the Polish attack on the hangars doing very well. Just very methodical play. More assault units coming up to try to clean up these rifles. Commando Tank Buster, very good against enemy armor with those very accurate bazookas. Forces the Panzer IV to surrender. Very good play with the anti-tank troops. The Commando Tank Busters got changed to bazookas because Piats are not very good in the mod. So they changed them to bazookas, which have better range and are better AP. Here comes another Spritz of the Rheinwerfer to try to suppress those troops for the Sturm Pioneers. Not going toward them though, just suppressing them. Interesting. Got his Pack 43 suppressed, but slow progress in the hangar area, and no progress on the edge. Just building up his A and AT network there. Base C coming very soon, but the Axis are in an advantageous position right now. Okay, we see the We see an Achilles coming up. That could deal with those tigers if he can get an advantageous engagement. But we haven't seen the tigers committed yet. That's interesting. Usually people want to get something out of them. And here's an off map. Whose off map that is beyond me. Not sure. Oh yeah, that is the Kartoffelnfuhrer's off map with the 380. Nice. He uses a jeep to suppress the enemy, but then he runs into a Brent group and dies. Still, that carries that attack home. But needs to get this row of houses now if he wants to secure position. And then there's a Sherman. Another Tiger and another Panzer IV. He is holding back his Tigers, probably trying to make a concerted push with them. And as we get into Phase C, he might need that to win against the greater resources arrayed against him. Very skillful use of the Achilles, only engaging that H-39. Fuhrer here should probably move his Tigers out to shoot at the Achilles, but he's not. He's actually hiding them. Oh no, he's not. He's not. He is actually engaging it, right? Tigers should beat the Achilles in this situation, but yep, knocked it out pretty easily. Here comes another shot with the Kartoffelnfuhrer. Unfortunately, mostly missed because I think he misjudged the enemy. No taking right now. The map's at 50-50. The game is remaining fairly competitive despite the Axis progress in the north side of the map. The Allies have made a lot of progress on it. Zerzer is doing a good job of fighting this and fighting the two players actually. Though the attack on the north has forced Modal to buy more defensive units to deal with the situation. A support Cromwell comes over here, probably before an attack starts. Another Kartoffelnfuhrer hit. Or actually, this is the Kartoffelnfuhrer. So, much more sustained bombardment without the incendiary effect. Still gets a lot of suppression out there. If he can follow this up, he'd be in good shape. But I don't think there's the infantry to follow it up. Another go with the Rheinwerfer. Pretty good job of suppressing this, but no follow-up. There's all the Tigers making a push sorta in the middle. I think it would be better to push in the wide open area, but I understand you don't want to really get flanked by a bunch of 17-pounders. Maybe this is better, actually. People always say the wide open areas are good for Tigers, but you don't want to be in a position where you can get engaged from several directions. It allows enemies to face your side armor and forces you to turn the turret, which is not what a Tiger wants to be doing. Though I think things have settled down in the south. Let's look at the north situation here. The the Panzer IV is coming up, but the Allies have a significant mechanized advantage there. Except it looks like Jack is sending more help for his ally Zerzer now to probably help deal with those 3 Tigers. I don't know if they know there's 3 Tigers in there, but they could be formidable if they can all engage at the same time. There's not a lot that can beat them, especially spread out like this. It'll take more than one airstrike to suppress them all. The Kartoffelnfuhrer player making heavy use of artillery to try to thin out and the Panzer IV actually got in and knocked out this Sherman. And should be able to wreak havoc without any AT assets to shoot at it. If he can follow this up with infantry, this could be a pretty good offensive. See the usefulness of the Panzerfaust, knocking out that half-track. And here comes the Rheinwerfer. Here it comes. Here comes the push. Panzer IV in a dominant position here. He's going to try to use the Firefly to pick it off. But at this range, the Panzer IV and the Firefly are pretty evenly matched. Knocks out a Firefly here. Good shot. Bails it out, but no. Firefly will get the first shot on the Panzer IV and knocks it out, yep. Still a good trade for this Panzer IV. I think it did its job, but now it's time for the infantry to follow up. Here's a Tiger at close range. But the, yeah, it does a good job actually. Knocks out the, well, it was already bailed out. So the Tiger and the Panzer IV working together here. Yeah, as you can see, the teamwork between the two players was fairly slow for to develop for the Allies, but the Axis have been cooperating very well. And I think that might help them win this game. As this attack in the hangar area develops. Just a little bit lacking in infantry right now. And the slow traverse of the Panzer IV does not help it deal with that Firefly. We see a lot of infantry being trucked into the city, but I think it may not have been as well coordinated as it could have been. An airstrike on the Tiger to try to suppress it, but it's not completely suppressed. Now it tries to get out of the situation, but I think, yeah, the Firefly got it damaged now. It's sitting duck. Yep, Tiger is knocked out by the Firefly at close range. See, little action up there. But here comes the Axis infantry assault. Getting very aggressive with the trucks. See long-range engagements here, but not with the Tigers. Be unfortunate. If he could get that other Tiger into play, this could be favorable for him. But facing down 3 Achilles, you know, it's still the Tiger's holding up so far. The Achilles missed the first couple shots. And the Tiger misses. That could be bad. Infantry attack. Yep. It's unfortunately he gets suppressed. And then yeah, the half-track forces them to surrender. Interesting not to use this H-39 to protect the Panzer Grenadiers from the half-track, but finally this Tiger gets into the action, but the command Tiger is knocked out. The other Tiger gets knocked out, unfortunately. So this is kind of, you know, fighting one by one with your heavy tanks against a wall of enemy 17-pounders is not a great plan. Not the best micro with those Tigers. We see Panzer IV and then a Stug coming in. A lot of very standoff play by the Luftwaffe player, but his assaults have not proven fruitful. They've been constantly getting suppressed by this artillery. This Pak 43 is probably going to get knocked out by artillery as well. I believe it knocked out the Sherman on this side. Okay, so the another hit with the. Oof, he is scared of something, but that isn't there. Probably doesn't see that it's not a very strongly held position to go further into the city. I think their focus is on other places. Oof, Grenadiers in the rear here. I guess their trucks got hit with enemy artillery, which forced them to unload early. They should probably be walking up. We see a little bit more progress in this hangar area, but on this side of the map, the 21st Panzer player is trying to make gains. And the Cromwell support knocks out the half-track with its heat round. Okay, they finally get the AT gun suppressed, but their infantry component itself gets suppressed. 2 tanks coming in. Another tank could be coming in. So attack on the north side could carry through if he can keep moving. A lot of commitment on this bottom side here. A lot of 17 pounders, which don't really help too much in the city fight. We see, oh wow, we see a huge air commitment up north by both players to try to stop this attack. But the reinforcing tank, it's out of heat rounds now, so it can't actually kill the Stug. Unless it gets a... Oh, it does kill the Stug. Probably because of the bombing hit from before. You can still kill it with HE. Now he's trying to use that machine gun jeep to surrender the tank, but that's not happening. Not with the support he has in the rear there. Another Allied air attack knocks out the Panzer IV. A little difference in the mod that these air attacks are quite deadly, but the AA is also deadly. Unfortunately for Modal, he doesn't have much AA in the area. It's all concentrated toward the middle, so these edge attacks are not dangerous. Three Achilles coming up. The Firefly in support. You know, with all the firepower that's on that, that's been hitting that Panzer IV, it probably could get knocked out by high explosive fire from the support Cromwell. Jack tries again to get it to surrender with a jeep, but the AT guns in support doing a very good job of protecting him. And now he's going to try to knock out the AT guns with his artillery, but at that range it's not very accurate. Direct hit, though. See Daimler and Firefly in the middle of town. I'm not sure that's the best of choices. But actually at 52% the Axis are ticking and they have the lead. Probably because of this progress on this side. And yeah, the Axis are making a little bit of progress in the hangars as well. So it could be erased with a good attack. Here comes an off map. I guess he's trying to suppress those tanks. Doesn't have much to follow it up with. Allies looks like they're calling out AT gun positions to try to shell them and get a mechanized push going. But the Panzer IV still alive and kicking, and the Cromwell with no heat rounds left can't do much to more armor. Doesn't look like more armor is forthcoming though. The 21st Panzer has fairly limited tank availability. especially of veteran tanks, like the command tanks and the veteran Panzer IV Gs. It could be that he's out. And like vanilla, this division doesn't have a KT in it. It's all about the light tanks and the economy, really. Could use Stugs if he had them. These 3 Achilles, though, they're really hunting that Tiger. And he doesn't have much to protect it with, just this Fusilier with a weak anti-tank weapon. Allies could try to get a lead here if they can knock out a few of these tanks. A bombing run on the tanks there with the bomber. And the Achilles retreat. I don't know why the Achilles retreated, but they're not moving forward. Oh, okay, they're trying to bomb the Tiger out here, but doesn't get a good suppression. Those aren't the most powerful bombs. Unfortunately, Jack is not holding up so well on his side of the line. Otherwise, this progress in the south would be more decisive. He's not really able to take this hangar position. And he's actually gotten pushed into here. Very tenuous hold on much of the map here. But the Allies are making big progress now, right up the middle. And the middle is where you want to be because you get more map percentage by taking the middle of the map. It's just more of the map. If you take map along the edge, it's just worth less. Let's see if they can push this and get a nice tick in here. But it looks like this game is going to be a draw if nothing drastically changes in the next 2 minutes. You see, not terribly aggressive push in the middle here. Kind of surprised, all these vehicles and all this firepower not being used to great effect. Meanwhile, the Luftwaffe player is just hammering this area, keeps hammering this lightly defended area with rockets. I don't know why. Pac 40 knocks out a Firefly, but he has enough vehicles to overwhelm this position. I guess just doesn't have the infantry to follow up. But they're making good use of air power up here to put away this kind of lightly done attack. If they can complete this, the Allies can get ticking, but it looks like it's too late for anything but a draw. So I think we see the Little John try to get in there, but these flak guns, these 20 millimeters, have an AP value, so they can defend themselves against armored cars. They're actually quite good at providing a little bit of extra defense to an area. Well, 20 millimeters, more useful than in vanilla. And we see the autocannon car with weapons jammed. Now we see the attack being carried home, and we start seeing a tick here, but it's a little too late to do too much, though. We see this blob of artillery and supplies. I think with a little bit more aggressive purchasing, they might have been able to push through the city, but now that the Allies are firmly in control, I think it comes down to their income being better at this point. They just have more points. They haven't really thrown in anything piecemeal. And that's really resulted in them just having a ton of stuff to work with. Shermans, Achilles, Fireflies. just everything they need. And now, yep, on this left side. But this game is over. It was well played by the Axis. I think their micro held up a lot more early on. But late in the game, the Allies really got it in, and then it paid off. But still, good, exciting game. It was a draw, of course. We can see yep, that's a Pack 43. Oh. You can see the effect of things like early Shermans. Anyway, thank you for watching this stream. So this is Pansy logging off.